Okay, and we're live. Lovely. So, we're back again with this hot mess. Where we left off last session, which was a few weeks ago, we had just come to the end of the siege on Zodia. However, during this siege event, the party lost one of their closest allies, being Karl Dragon, or one of the Dragon twins. And the very ending point that we had left off on was everybody regathering at the Forest Guard Guild. Brain cells, please. Okay. So, we are going to start off with this. So, as the party returns to the Forest Guard Guild, sorry, my brain cells are trying to put two and two together. I forgot half of my notes that I've written, or have written. So, you all regather together. Each of the groups, having been split apart, have now reconvened together. There is a heavy sense of loss amongst the group, and upon return, there are all the mercenaries that had spent most of the time hiding away in the Astrologian's tower are celebrating amongst each other. However, your group, specifically your collective of people, if you will, most of you are noticing that Rosemary currently does not have her rider with her. Only a few of you are aware of what's actually happened. But there is no Karl. Okay. So the only characters that should be aware of what's actually happened are Alice, whose player isn't here for today, Alistair, Milo, Mado, and Jalda. Yes, Jalda. So, commence scene, smiley face. Sorry. Okay, so fucking hell. Sorry, my brain cells are melting. So as you're all kind of being gathered into one space, Lupus, Ziffy, Diana, Felicity, and Astra take the currently bound Tuck into a separate room away from the group, and they do not return after doing so. So the only people currently in the room are Alec, Alice, Alstramira, Xanis, Penton, Kay, Milo, Alistair, Rosemary, Mado, Leon, Throck, Yuzok, Yarma, and Jelda, and obviously Jelda's avatar, Fenrir. You are all currently in the same room.
Well, it looks like everyone else made it back, I guess. what happened with Karl?
We had to kill him.
What happened to make you have to do that?
Mace. Mace and Tuck were at the Western Gate, summoning the undead. After Tuck disappeared, Mace did something. I don't know what it was, but it drew upon something, the madness that was in Karl. And it changed him fundamentally. It wasn't Karl.
I'm really sorry, Milo. I wish there was something I could do to help.
Xanis approaches Milo, and with a very solemn expression on his face, looks up. I'm sorry to... I would say I feel responsible for what's happened, but if Mace and Tuck were both there, then they really don't know when to leave, do they? I'm sorry.
Don't apologise, Xanis. Don't.
Xanis takes a moment and processes the response before reaching into the stash of random crap that's currently in his bag, and pulls out a small letter, hands it to Milo. I was told to keep hold of this, but Karl gave this to me a few days before the incident with Jasper, before we left. Maybe something to take a look at later.
Yeah.
So Xanis very, very timidly kind of nods his head and moves back to where his temporary bed in the room was, to rifle through some of his belongings and just repack some of his stuff. Can you guys make me a perception check, please? Hearing based.
Perception.
That is all fine. So, Mira, Alec, Milo, Anton.
Okay.
Oh shit, maths.
I know. I was like, what is? I was like, what's 8 plus 10? 16? No, 18.
I've got. Milo has rolled a 29.
Alec
That's
is
success.
waiting for his sheet to load.
I don't believe I got a B plus in maths.
Perception you said?
Yep.
16.
16, that's a success.
Woohoo.
Mira, what did you get?
According to my maths, I got 16, but I actually got 18.
Okay. And... God. My brain is being slow to process today. And Penton, what did you get?
Bear with.
If you want, you can roll my cursed D20. The one that is bloodlusty.
Ooh.
D&D dice roller without the D key working on my keyboard.
Oh my god, yeah, D key doesn't work, does it?
So I had to grab a D from my character sheet and paste it into the Google search.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. Basically, Penton's D key on his keyboard doesn't work anymore. So it's like, well, that's awkward.
Yeah, we only play N20 now.
Yes.
So apparently, according to this brand new dice roller, I got 12.
So, perception roll.
It's like the worst for it to not work.
16, right?
Okay, so 16. That's also a success. So you hear the sound of what you'd assume is like an airship going overhead. It's definitely windows are not very well soundproofed, and it drops off 2 people that are silhouetted out of the window. But unfortunately, the window is tinted glass, so you can't really see that well through it. Ah, God, brain cells. As the group. Oh. Anyway, as the group are kind of trying to settle, I guess. Let me just look at my notes again. Brain cells, okay. So I'm trying to remember what I'd lined up next because head empty.
Imagine knowing what.
Imagine knowing what you're doing.
Imagine knowing. Just knowing.
Milo's eyes widen a little. Is Rosemary in the room with us, was it?
Yes, Rosemary is currently in the room, kind of bundled up in the corner, looking very, very lost and confused.
Is Carl's scarf still attached to the saddle?
Yes, yes it is.
Milo's gonna go over and retrieve the scarf.
Okay. As you take the scarf, Rosemary looks up, kind of tilts her head at you, and you hear the word "baby" come out of her. She seems very lost and confused, is looking around as though to try and spot someone, but is having no luck finding them.
Baby gone.
Okay. It seems like it immediately clicks in her mind. And almost immediately, Rosemary just kind of plops her head down and loafs, but curls up a bit tighter on herself. Burb sad, basically.
I'm sorry,
Oh, come
Rosemary.
on.
I'm sorry, Rosemary. Milo stands and walks over to where Carl, Jesus,
Oh dear.
Take your time.
to where Alistair is.
Alistair looks up at you as you move over, seeming a little bit jittery after, well, understandably so, after what happened. His hands are trembling a little bit, and his rapier is currently sheathed and placed with his bag, so he's not holding it anywhere near him. Oh, hello, Milo. How are you?
Hey,
How are you doing?
sad. You to have this. Milo lifts up the scarf.
Initially, sorry.
Oh,
As you
no,
lift
go.
the scarf, Alistair looks confused initially, not really understanding it very well.
You and Karl loved each other a lot, and well, Karl was always the better judge of character out of the two of us. And, well, you may have never gotten the chance to be lawfully his partner in terms of like marriage and stuff. I would have loved that, to be honest.
The expression that takes on Alistair's face is one of... It looks like he's about to cry, but just nods in response.
These scarves were always a little symbol of our brotherhood, I suppose. And I want you to know that you will always have a place in our family.
Alistair looks shocked. Not really... It doesn't really seem to click immediately. But with trembling hands, he takes the scarf from Milo and, kind of like a lazy knot, wraps it around his own neck. Thank you. I don't think I personally deserve this honor, but I appreciate it. Thank you. Is there... I guess try not to overthink it. I'm not really sure what to say at the moment. Just... We'll get there, I think. Anyway, we should focus. And as that is occurring, cough.
I burped during that.
Sorry, it didn't come through. It didn't come through. You're good.
The best part is that my mic went green and everything.
Oh no.
Oh
You
no,
didn't hear
mentally it went
it
through.
it was what I like to call a frog burp.
Oh,
My mouth
yes.
wasn't open, and
Did
so my
someone
cheeks
say,
just expand.
Okay. So, as this is occurring, noises. Where is it? I'm being blind. Give me a second.
When aren't you being blind, honey?
Call me out much.
Love you.
You can see.
Yes.
That's why I wear glasses.
Smiles and I used to wear
No.
glasses.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
So, as this is occurring, the door very, very gently squeaks open. And standing in the doorway is the familiar figure of Lilac, who you've met briefly before, but haven't really had much time to interact with. However, he is very quickly barged past as Cassandra basically full force sprints in past Lilac and clings to Kay.
Kay, my daughter, are you alright? Are you alright? Are you unharmed? You better be unharmed. I swear to God, if anyone has touched you, I swear to God, I will murder them with my rifle. They will have a bullet straight to the head. Are you alright? Tell me, are you alright?
Yeah, I'm okay, Mum. Kay looks a little bit startled at the fact that her parents have just kind of suddenly appeared out of nowhere. But why are you here, though? It's a bit, unusual?
Oh, well, The Guildmaster has something that he needs to speak to us about. Heaven knows what it's about, but we'll find out soon enough, I suppose.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm okay. We lost one of our group though. As
Oh dear.
Milo's brother.
The tall one with the ears.
They both have ears, Mum.
Yes, but one of them... Oh, never mind. Forgive me. It must be troubling for you. You have my sincere sympathies.
Yeah.
So, as this occurs, you hear the voice of the Guildmaster calling Cassandra's name, and Lilac basically takes Kay out of the room. Just to basically go and have what you'd assume is just go and have a father-to-daughter conversation. And you hear, Cassandra! Echo down the
Yes,
hall.
darling! I'm coming!
And Cassandra leaves the room. As this is occurring, once again, gotta have so many things happening at once. During this, Mado goes over to Alice, and after a few quiet whispers, they leave the room. So let me just adjust the map. Organizational skills.
Wow!
So you two are over here. You are just kind of there. Fucking banana boat. You are currently off with Father Dearest.
Okay, my darling, okay, my baby, okay, my love.
Yes, this is how things work. Me having to organize things on the screen. So it makes sense to me. There we go.
What's your stream not update?
It should have.
Hang on. It has not!
Should have now.
Oh, now it has. Now it has. Now it has. How it
Just
has.
scroll a little further up.
Yes.
There we go.
There we go. Success.
Brilliant. Okay, so I need to find an appropriate track for this. So we go to where is it? I'm trying to find that. There it is. So we cut over to Lupus and Fale, who are currently in a room talking to one another. They are sitting at a table. There are only two of them. So, Fale, you made it through that. So I guess you have my thanks or respect for that. But I don't know whether that's out of free will or whether that's just because you're worried about what the aftermath will be. I'm not sure.
I mean, if I tell you the truth, are you really going to believe me at this point?
Yes. Why do you think that you've managed to survive?
Well, I came here because I wanted to. I wanted to protect my child. And I made you a promise after all. I wasn't forced to come here. I came out of my own free will.
Good. It's been interesting, we'll put it that way. The last 20 years or so. You wouldn't believe how many people have tried to rally small armies to invade.
I can only imagine at this point. I suppose I owe for you to thank for preventing that.
Yes, that would be the case. Not an easy task, but I made you a promise years ago that I would do what I could to help you, and so far, that's what I've done.
Yes, well, thank you for that. But I suppose it's about time that I relieve you of that promise, isn't it? If there's one last thing that, well, it's hard to say. I don't see the way forward for me anymore. I'll be completely honest. Everything seems so bleak. I mean, I know you're going to kill him, and, well, Alstrameria probably will never want to speak to me again, as well as me being ostracized from the rest of the world. I could spend the rest of my life trying to recover everything that I've lost, everything that I've sacrificed. For what greater good to have people not be disgusted when they look at me? Is that really worth continuing the suffering?
I know what you mean. The last however long it's been since, well, everything's gone to shit. I get it. So, I guess expecting something like this to happen, I've been doing my digging, and there is an out that I have potentially for you if you need it. But it's not going to be fun, I'll put it that way.
Over these many years, I've come to realize that there are some people that just cannot be fixed, no matter how hard you try, and
I wouldn't call you one of them.
on the surface, it looks like I'm doing fine, but on the inside, I don't see the point anymore, I'll be honest.
Well, considering you've had your father Alaric, you've had Percival, so on. God, if you even remember that far back, and having to deal with Eugene now, well, it's no wonder that things have just gotten progressively worse.
I don't see how I'll ever be able to trust someone again. Everyone who I thought I could just use me for their own nefarious deeds. I feel like the only way for me to ever recover some sense of my psyche is to disappear from this place. Forever.
Well, as fucked up as it sounds, there is a method.
Go on.
But I think it may be worth not only talking to the other person that I have decided to get involved in this, but it might be worth having one last conversation with, at the very least, your daughter.
You're going to let me speak to her again?
Yes.
I suppose I should be thankful for that.
Don't take it the wrong way. The reason I kept you two apart is to stop your husband from destroying her life as well. Call it damage control, if you will.
I understand. I do hope you make him suffer for everything that he's done.
Well, a rapier through the skull and allowing him to bleed out should be more than sufficient for the number of lives that he's destroyed and the number of people he's killed.
So. But at the end of the day, when you think about it, he did achieve what he wanted,
And
which
so did you.
is ruining me.
Yes, I suppose so. But I wouldn't say he got there quick enough, considering the fact that when I first met you, Miss Tisa, Felicity, Fele, whichever one you prefer at this point, you had one goal, and that was to redeem your family's name. And you did that. And so much more. You purged an island of so much corrupt nobility that it's actually a hospitable place with a decent society now. I've never seen an island have so many different shrines to deities that have been willing to set up shop there, if you will. God, even the Althena clerics that you let Mira chase after when she's at home, if you will.
She always did think they were playing tag with her, not realizing that they were terrified. It's like
Well-
unleashing a little guard dog.
Well, I can't say you're wrong there. But let's put it this way. You've achieved what you set out to do all those years ago. And more. Caleris is thriving. I've never seen a place that have such a instantaneous market boom. Not just from the people traveling in, but from the place being genuinely enjoyable to live in, if you will.
I suppose at least I've done something right in this life. For my people, if I can even call them that now anymore.
Yes, I would say so. Cassandra has, as I'm sure you're aware, taken over that position. And the council is running pretty well now. Unfortunately enough, we managed to catch your husband, if you even want to call him that at this point, before
Hardly.
he could do any more damage.
Yes, well, I feel like the council always did prefer Cassandra. I'm sure she'll be a grand leader that'll restore the faith in their people.
People never lost faith in you, Felice. Feli. They never lost faith. The only person they ever had problems with was your husband. I don't think you ever realised that, but I thought you should know.
Well, it's hard to tell when you've been subject to the worst of your life for goodness knows how long. You know, I truly believed that he would be able to make me happy, to give me the life that I always wanted. And, well, it's ironic to say that he gave me the exact opposite.
Well, I'd say yes and no. Sure, he destroyed your life for the last 20 years, but before he perished, I guess if you want to call it pre-Norik.
I will always regret that. I should have spoken to him about it, or even spoken to you about it, maybe. Maybe I could have been stopped, but it's too late now.
Well, the good news is that, let's put it this way, Norik is, thankfully, still alive, though in the position of Rama now, rather than freedom that he was previously in. And if you look at it this way, sure, your choices may not have led to the greatest of places, but you achieved everything you wanted to, and more, and that legacy will live on through Austramira. Your daughter is quite the, not handful, but she's adapting
something.
and learning. A lot faster than I think you would have expected her to.
Well, I blame myself and Tuck for all of that. He preyed on my fears to isolate her the entire time. Well, there's so much that she didn't learn
Well,
because I was too scared of corrupting her, and I suppose I ended up corrupting her anyway.
I can tell you that none of that has stuck. There is no corruption there, if you want to put it that way. Sure, she's a bit special, if you want to call her that, but she's taken to the guild very well. The guild has taken to her pretty well as well. And she's developing at such a rapid rate that I think the child that you sent off to help at my guild is pretty different to the young girl that you'll get to talk to later. For now, I'd like to introduce you to the person who will be helping you provide your out. And Lupus raises a hand and scratches the back of his head before making a whistle noise. And through the door comes Cassandra, who joins Lupus and Feli at the table.
Oh, Lupus, you know I love it when you call me like that. Hello. Oh, hello, Felicity. Hello. Why is she here?
Well, ladies, how do I put this? I'm sure you're both aware of your differences. I'm sure you're aware, because I should call you Cass. Cass, I'm sure you're aware of the problems with Miss Atisa, if you want to refer to her as that, and vice versa.
Yes, I mean, we do have some differences, don't we?
Anyway, moving onwards from that. We are going to try and help Feli out of her position. As I'm sure that you, at least both of you, are aware, or I can tell you now, is that Feli is one of the branches of the bloodlines that have been attached to our magic for years now. I think you both have been told previously, at least once or twice, about the great sages that came long before us. However, during my research, I found that it's possible to transfer the bloodline abilities by quite literally transferring the blood. As far as I'm aware, you are both of the same blood type, which is convenient and makes this much easier. So, the way of resolving this is that, Feli, what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to take all of the blood within you, put it in Cassandra, and then reincarnate you into the same body you are in now. Don't ask me how the complexities of that work, just bear with me. Meaning, after this, Cassandra will now be pinned to your bloodline, and you will be able to walk away from this completely free. Your goddess powers, unfortunately, will go back to Shiva, but I'm sure they've not exactly been helpful to you in the first place.
Oh, I am so sick of people turning up to my house in the middle of the night. Yes. Alright, I suppose this is the best way forward, isn't it?
Well, it's the cleanest way forward that isn't me literally having to murder you outright and pin all of your bloodline, all of the attachment from your bloodline onto either Edith or your daughter.
Ah, but what does that mean for the Marlborough bloodline?
What, the bloodline that you've already tried to forsake multiple times because of your father? Well, essentially it will make the Marlborough bloodline be directly connected to the Rosewoods.
I mean, it is a lovely family. I'm not exactly saying no to it.
So, let me summarize. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take all of the blood in your body, Fale, and basically dry you out like a prune. I'm then going to take the blood that I have taken out of you and put it into Cassandra. I am then going to reincarnate you, but use a little bit of what I'm going to call rune magic, we'll put it that way. So essentially, I'm transferring all of the blood out of you into Cassandra, and then bringing you back to life. That's pretty much the summary of it.
What is your plan for me after you've pruned me?
Lupus tries not to giggle, but has a very large smile on his face, just imagining something.
Lupus, come on!
I'm sorry, you'll have to bear with me. Despite the seriousness of this, I couldn't unimagine your hair as a wig on top of an oversized prune. Anyway, moving swiftly onwards. Essentially, after I have brought you back, an old friend of mine, Euless Gottfried, is actually the son of my former teacher, who somehow managed to help me learn red magic despite my lacking attention span at times. Essentially, he will be your caretaker, if you wish to put it that way. And the two of you will be sent into a different plane, the plane of astral dreams. You will be out of harm's way, and essentially you will be more than capable of fading away, if you will. I've already arranged with some of my elites to try and tamper with some historical documents, so the Atisa name will not carry its less than reputable statement, reputation, whatever. Basically, the Atisas won't be the ones blamed with all of the bullshit that has happened. It will be placed upon Tuck, or the Valentines. A little bit confusing, I'm aware, but...
And what will happen to Malstromeria?
She is... well, from what I've been told, Lilac wishes to adopt your daughter into his family. I don't know how you feel about that, Cass, but are you at least willing to go through with this? This is the only simple way I can handle Fele's situation without potentially pinning someone untrustworthy in her place.
Well, Kay always has wanted a sibling. She just said I've been too busy with my rifle lately, so pay attention to Lilac a little bit, but this would be a good way to give Kay what she wants.
Well, it's not a case of what Kay wants. In terms of what I'm asking is, are you fine with taking Miss Atisa's position as one of the Sage bloodlines? Or at least taking her place in that bloodline?
Yes. It would be what would be best for Caleris, and if it helps Felicity at the same time, then I'm okay with it.
It will require that you are present with myself and the rest of the Sleeping Wolves Guild when we eventually try and tackle Lilith again. So I have a lot to catch you up on, but if you're okay with going through with it, I will arrange it to be dealt with.
As long as I can shoot the bitch, I really don't mind.
I'll consider it.
So, we're really going through with this, then?
Well, it's what you asked for. You wanted an out, and I found one. It's the only out that I can give you that doesn't require me to pull you back into this again.
I'm tired, Lupus. I'm really tired.
You and me both. I will permit you to go and talk to your daughter. do you want me to arrange Astra and Diana to come and talk to you before this happens, as this will likely be the last time that you see any of us again?
Yes, I do have some things that I need to say before I go.
Okay. Well, you are welcome to go and approach your daughter. I will go and gather together Diana and Astra. Okay, so as the room disperses, brain cells, things I do not have. Milo, you are approached by a very, very large man, specifically
Sounds-
Yuzok. You are approached by Yuzok.
Oh.
I think this is. Wait, is it?
This
out of
this
character?
is the first time I think they've interacted. I don't think they've been introduced.
No, and off the top of my head, I think this will probably be the first time that Milo's met someone that's a significant point taller than him. And as you're approached, I'm just going to describe, obviously out of character, I know you already know who this is, but as this person approaches, Milo is basically greeted with the sight of what looks like an orc satyr sort of person, who is 8 foot in height and is built like a fucking bull. Like, this is the visage of someone who's kind of intimidating to look at, but seems oddly soft-hearted as he approaches. Your horns are nice.
Thank you. I'm Milo. I don't think we've been introduced.
No, Yuzok don't remember Hornman. My name is Yuzok. Yuzok Maripol.
Nice to meet you, Yuzok.
As this is happening, Yuzok reaches into his bag. It's like almost like a hip bag attached to a belt that doesn't seem to quite sit high enough, but it works? Question mark. And pulls out a flower. Brain cells, give me 2 seconds to remember. And it's not a flower that you're completely familiar with, but if you want to roll me a nature check, then I can tell you what the flower is.
Well, that is a total of 12.
Yeah, it takes a little bit, but you realise it is a sun lily. A rather unique plant that isn't often found, but it's just the flower. Yuzok find this plant while travelling. Preserve it to make it nice and pretty. Go nice in horns.
Thank you. I'm not quite sure how to put this on my horns.
Yuzok help.
Thank you.
And for the next few minutes, Yuzok basically helps kind of, I guess not layer them, but kind of decorate Milo's horns with some sun lilies, and little flowers just decorating the horns. So nothing too unusual, but it's an experience After a little bit, Yuzok finishes, but proceeds to very quickly dismiss himself and wander outside. You can see him go past the window briefly to go and sit in the little garden areas that this guild has, and just tending to some of the nature nearby. Bananas. And as you're like kind of trying to process the encounter, Gelda comes up to you. Well, Milo, very nice horns. They look absolutely dashing.
Thank you.
How are you feeling? I imagine not great, but
Tired.
I feel that one. It wasn't exactly an easy fight. I think we got pretty lucky that there weren't more.
Yeah. Those was it Seaths that cast those spells?
Yes, I believe there were sacrifices. I remember hearing the names of them at one point during my travels.
Did Milo recognize that they were death spells?
Yes, I would say that he'd be relatively familiar with it after the fight against Mace. I think would have been like a few weeks ago. Yeah, anywhere between a few weeks to a month ago, ish.
Alright. They were death spells. Gonna be completely honest with you. I don't understand how I'm still standing.
Well, I'd assume it's because you're a devil. I mean, look at those horns. They are majestic. I'm sorry, I'm trying to be comical after such a heavy atmosphere in here. It's trying to bring the mood up a bit, if you will. But no, I would assume that those are devil horns. They're a bit more, I don't want to call them deer-like, but they're less jagged and pointy.
I haven't really gotten to see them, but they definitely feel like they've grown.
Almost as if you you have to take a moment as Gelda reaches into his bag and pulls out a almost comically oversized mirror. Think like one of the decorative mirrors that you'd have on a wall that's kind of just compiled down. He just pulls that out of his bag. And you can hear some clinking around as though he's got just a bunch of random knickknacks and random crap in his bag. And holds the mirror up in front of you. Well, I normally use this for Mother while she's brushing her hair during our travel. But there you go. It should be enough. Take a look.
They're a lot bigger.
Oh dear. Well, you know what I like to do when I feel tired and my spirits are low? Food. How about I cook you something that my mother used to make for me.
Oh, what's it called?
I don't remember. But you know what? I'll remember eventually, and that's the important thing. And I'm gonna have
You're
gonna have him roll a history
You're gonna have
check.
to create that.
He rolled a nat one!
Dude,
He fails his history
to
check.
be fair, that nature check was a 1, but nature stat good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think Gelda's history is that great. Yeah, no.
No.
He's like 4 off the DC.
Oh,
He doesn't
dear
remember what the
lord.
name of it is, but he just sits there and smiles. It's tasty. Anyway, yes, come with me. We'll go and get some ingredients together
Yeah.
before that wolf boy or whoever that is over there who's giving you evils starts. Looks like he's gonna pick a fight or something. So let's just shuffle along, shall we?
Yeah. I'm interested to try this.
Well, I hope you're not allergic to fish.
I think it would be rather amusing if I was.
Oh dear. Well,
I'm already seasick.
It's a recipe from where is it? It's a recipe all the way from Mithras, my home island, country, town. I don't remember. I don't really pay much attention to these things. But anyway, off we go, and Gelda grabs hold of Milo's hand and basically pulls him along, and you can hear a very deep sigh come from Fenrir, just watching in the corner. And just hear a off he goes again.
I don't actually hear that off he goes again, do I?
You hear it very quietly. I would say your passive perception is just high enough to hear it.
Uh-oh. I wasn't expecting that one, Chief.
Anyway, so in the meantime, brain cells. Alec.
Hello. Ooh, okay. I will go up to Yarma.
Yep, he is currently sitting there polishing the blade of his night sword. And trying
Wow,
not to slice his fingers
sword.
open.
Cool sword.
Thanks. Can I help you? Whoever the hell you are? Do you need something?
The siege. We were in the same group. I thought I'd introduce myself. I'm Alec.
Okay.
I put out my hand to shake his hand, I guess.
He kind of looks at your hand,
He just looks at my hand.
He looks at your hand for a moment, a bit confused, but just shrugs. And takes your hand, shaking it. Yes, hi. I'm Yarma. Yarma Baldwin.
Ooh. Nice to meet
Can I-
you, Yarma Baldwin.
Can I just roll quickly?
Yep.
What are you rolling for? To listen?
I have been direct
What are
messaged
you rolling?
with what this roll is, so don't worry.
It's a natural 20.
Okay, so what is that total?
30.
Okay, yep. I'll write that down in my notes. And I'm also gonna just... Yep, okay. So, the two of you shake hands, and it's a little bit, it's a little bit awkward, because he's just kind of giving you evils, because he's trying... It's almost as though he's trying to work out who the you are. Well, is there something else I can help you with? You kind of in the middle of polishing my blade, ready for the next encounter.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Alright, well, I'll see you
Sit
about,
next
I
to him.
guess.
No, I'm gonna sit next to him.
Okay. And he continues to keep, like, applying more metal polish to this cloth and polishing over the weapon and proceeding with some of the messy parts of some of the more messy parts of his armor that got dirtied during the battle.
Okay, cool.
Okay. As this is occurring, Penton, you are approached by Xanis. Actually, wait, hold on. No, sorry, wrong one. You are not approached by Xanis, you are approached by Leon.
Oh, okay.
The other rabbit folk that was there upon your return. Excuse me, are you... Sorry, I feel like I know you from somewhere. What's your name?
I feel like I know you too. My name is Penton.
No.
What?
Don't tell me you've forgotten. Leon Raminus.
Oh my god!
Holy shit.
It's been like, what, 18, 20 years? 18? Something?
Way too long.
How have you been?
Surviving. Let me introduce you to my companion Throck. He's just kind of here at the moment.
Hello.
And Leon
I'm quite
turns.
here at the moment.
Leon turns to just wave his hand to Throck, who's just standing there, just menacingly. Oh god.
So, what have you been up to for the last 18 years then?
Well, that's it's a long story, let's put it that way. My family took me to go back to Colaris at one point. Do you remember I told you that my parents used to work as freehand labourers? They used to tell me, which I later found out they were just slaves. But do you remember that they were used to work? That I technically was conceived there, and I remember telling you about this like once or twice, I think.
Yeah, I think I do. It's a while ago, but...
Well, we decided to go... Well, I say we. They decided to take me back to my heritage place, which was... It didn't go well. A megalodon attacked the ship halfway on its travel, and I was the only survivor. I washed up on Varnaxian. I somehow managed to cross the ocean, somehow managed to carry me halfway across the planet, but that's an experience, I suppose. And then I met Throck. After a lot of mental trauma, and then after a long while of traveling, him and his tribe managed to get me back to the port. I went to the Bardic College, finished up there. I was the only person who survived the graduation because there was a cave-in, and there was apparently I think it was I forget what they called it, but it was one of those really old yellow dragons that was just living under the surface of the cave. So that was an experience. It killed the vast majority of the other people that were there. But you know.
Oh well, that's... I mean, first of all, sorry for your loss, and also, you are one unlucky sod.
Well, it's okay. It turns out that the actual, what they thought was a dragon was just a very large, misshapen elemental. Fortunately, but yes, everybody else perished. I was fortunate enough that it only went after the rest of them that decided it'd be a smart idea to run even further into the depths of the cave. when it goes at least, 50 stories down? If not more so? Just, yep, we're all smart and this elemental will lose us, let's jump down this giant hole in the ground. As you can imagine, it didn't end well.
I mean, I've met stupid people.
Well, I mean, not to insult his intelligence, but how I introduce you to Throck, he's not exactly the smartest person in the world, but...
Although I'm Throck, I'm not exactly the smartest person in the world, but I've got a big heart. At least that's what Leon tells me.
He
He's
does.
right.
Yes. I'm sure you can,
On the broad. Check out
Leon's,
these.
Leon's sitting there trying his hardest not to laugh. But, yes, anyway, Anyway, this is my travelling companion and partner. Throck, this is, Penton Aleno. He is an old friend of mine.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you too. Sorry, I'm just in a bit of shock. I wasn't expecting to meet anyone I know. And I don't know that many people from my past, so this really is quite surprising.
Well. Ah, dear.
But can I say, you have aged very well.
I could say the same to you.
Thank you.
Ah, dear. Well,
I'm sorry I sort of vanished. 'Cause I remember I just stopped seeing you. I believe, if I remember rightly, my parents are very stuck up. And once they found out that you were technically the child of, what were slaves, they thought that was no good for me, so they basically forbidden me from seeing you. And then, you know, they kicked me out, because I was too much hassle, and I spent the next few years of my life in an orphanage.
well, that sounds, what's the word? Concerning.
Yeah, it was. And then someone broke in and took me in, and then I learned how to be a scoundrel and how to steal and lie and cheat and manipulate people to get what I want. And I was very fucking good at it.
Leon has a massive grin on his face as he raises his hand up to go for a high five. You know what's great? You know what the funny thing is? Same!
Yeah.
Put it there. And it's a very loud conversation. Like, this is happening in the middle of the room where everybody else was sitting. So whoever's there is just overhearing this to some degree.
God,
At least
so
the very
weird.
loud
18
peaks.
years apart, and we basically followed the same path. And then those paths crossed again.
Well,
I mean, we even have the same dress sense.
I wouldn't say that, but
Someone was copying my look.
I
And
wouldn't
now
say
I understand.
I wouldn't completely say that. I think I might wear it slightly better.
Oh yeah, sure. You're always like this.
Then again, the little cape that goes with this for having to signify that I'm a bard works pretty well with the waistcoat thing.
I've had my run-ins with the bodyguards before, but I won't go into that.
Well,
Say
if
that later.
they're anything like what I used to be like before I bumped into Throck, or at least got with Throck properly, then I'm sure I can guess. A lot of the teachers weren't exactly subtle about their activities. Anyway, myself and Throck have got an inn room booked for the evening, but they gave us a 3-person room rather than the 2-person. So you're welcome to come and reminisce about the old days over a couple of bottles of ale. Maybe a dragonfire cocktail. Who knows?
Oh, that sounds fantastic. God, I could do with a drink after the last few days. It's been hell.
Well, I will have to depart now and take Throck with me. But potentially see you later. Here's I'll give you this, and he scribbles down something on a piece of paper and hands it to you. It's directions from the guild to where the inn that they're staying at is. Feel free to bring in some extra gil with you. I have a funny feeling we'll probably end up drinking quite a bit.
No, that's fine. I'm very good at my trade. I could probably make that much gil on the way.
Well, I mean, it's not exactly hard with the number of idiots walking around, is it?
Oh god, so many.
Anyway,
It's like, you might as well just give me your money.
well, I must be off, so be seeing you.
Yeah, I'm seeing you too. Later tonight.
Of course.
Bye, Leon's friend.
And at that, Leon just starts chuckling to himself.
What? What'd I say?
Don't worry, I'll tell you later. Meanwhile, yes. Walking out of this room. Oh my god, this is so brilliant. This is great timing. You are approached again, Penton, by.
Sure.
Got me. You are approached by Xanis, who hands you some. Hands you basically a couple of rations that were passed about for the evening as like a brief snack, and basically mumbles something along the line of he wants to talk to you later before heading back off. Brain. In the meantime, Milo. Smiley face.
Oh no!
Was that an oh no?
Let me come closer to my desk.
Please do that.
Oh my god, Astra's back.
No, this is not Astra.
Milo!
Anyway, yeah.
Moving swiftly onwards, you return to the room
Oh.
after you've helped Gelda gather some belongings together to prepare some food, and he basically wanders off to go and do his own thing, with Fenrir following very close behind to observe that he's not breaking anything.
Mhm.
And as you enter, give me 2 seconds. As it happens, you hear someone speak up. Oi, what are you getting all sad about over there? You ain't got no reason to be upset.
Excuse me?
You are excused. Stop parading about.
Milo looks over.
And from the far side of the room is the knight that had temporarily joined along.
Would you know?
What would I know? Easily. The fact that crying over a lost body is not exactly... What's the correct term for it? Not exactly smart for a guild warrior. Surely you've lost more people than this.
A lost body? So you're calling my twin brother a lost body? Oh, I see how it is. What a pathetic excuse of a person.
You called me a pathetic excuse for a person.
At
Someone
least I
like
have
you
to
working in a
answer.
guild. Someone who cries over the loss of another warrior. This is the whole point of the training.
I'm no warrior boy.
Don't
And
call
you
me
start seeing, I guess, specks of red form on the ground as these small devils start appearing.
You hear a snort of amusement. You really think that a few tiny devils are going to intimidate me? God, what they teach in the Sleeping Wolves must be absolutely pathetic. The Floss Knights is where it's at. At least we all know how to deal with loss. You heard me.
Are you feeling threatened? Do you feel like you're being emasculated, like the poor excuse of a person you are?
Trust me, I don't need to worry about masculinity, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Oh, really? It just seems so pitiful.
Ah, dear. They really don't teach the Sleeping Wolves guild members how to actually process things, do they? So as this argument is starting to peak up, Astra, Diana, and Zippy, you can hear them talking within earshot of the room. So their voices are in the background, if you will. As Yarma pipes up again. So what, you're gonna just sit there and lose it, are you? Aw, poor little tiefling boy lost his brother and now he's gonna go cry. Aw. God, I never should have come here in the first place. At least back at the guild, we had people that would actually grow up and act like men.
You hear footsteps approach the door as Astra comes in. Now, what's all this? I do hope that people aren't arguing. This isn't the time nor the place.
Oh, of course not, madam. I'm merely, correcting something that my guild would have jumped straight on.
Correcting?
Yes.
Who are you to correct?
Oh, easy enough. I'm a member of another guild. It's quite common.
Another guild. No matter, I do not particularly care. You're a member of another guild. You have no place here.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Someone far more important than you.
Well, everybody thinks that about themselves, miss.
Says the person with the attitude of a 5-year-old. Anyway, I heard you talking to my grandson, and I would rather insist you stop before things get ugly.
Right. I'm sorry, but once again, who are you to try and intimidate me, of all people?
Oh, am I not being clear enough? And Astra, with a flick of a wrist, activates Radiant Soul version 2.0. And you see these golden, translucent wings sprout out from her back, and this godly aura appear. I think you better check yourself, boy.
Ah, I see. An illusionist.
Oh, no illusionist. How dare you compare me to such a things? It seems I have to put you in your place. And Astra whispers something and begins a process. In the power of Ardi Own, my own abilities, I give this task upon thee to complete before the day's end. This task, if not fulfilled, will end up with this being to be turned into a Sith. And this task shall be to dodge the physical attack that I will lay upon him. So it shall be. And you see what seems to be a closed eye appear on Yarma.
He looks blankly at it, clearly not knowing what that is.
It seems one has never done their research. Well, no matter. You'll have the rest of your life to commiserate your miserable existence. And Astra in one swift step, makes her way across the room, and using her martial arts is going to attempt to hit Yarma.
Okay.
That is 43 to hit.
Give me 2 seconds. Sorry, my brain is trying to find the thing. Ah, yes, okay. There it is. As Astra goes in to swing, still having hold of his shield, Yarma unleashes the ability within it as a reaction, catapulting him about 10 foot backwards into the wall, meaning that the attack misses. But in rather humiliating fashion, Yarma lands arse end up, with his plate mail falling down, to enough of a degree where it literally gets stuck into the floor. So the plate mail that he is currently wearing has now pinned him in place, like an upside down turtle. So he's now upside down, vertically. Wait, is it vertically or horizontally? Vertically. He is now upside down, being held in place by his plate mail, flailing helplessly like some sort of estranged
I guess
turtle.
it's a good thing that I never specified how many actions it would take. That was only one action, after all. I said a physical attack. I never said how many actions it had to be. And so Astra goes in for another swing.
Okay.
51.
Yep, he
To hit.
physically cannot move. He is pinned to the floor. The plate mail crunches under your fist, Astra.
So, 9 plus 13, and plus 26. So that would be 26 bludgeoning and 3 holy.
So... Sorry, I'm having to do numbers. So, 17 bludgeoning, 3 holy. Okay. So, the strike is made. And as this occurs, there is, yeah, the task has been failed. However, he's not, as though you were expecting immediately for him to transmutate, basically turn into a Sith because he's failed his task. Something is preventing that. You're not quite sure what. The brand.
Is Lupus in the doorway?
Yeah, Lupus is in the doorway. He's not doing anything.
Is Eden about to whoop my ass?
Entering the room from on high, basically coming through the ceiling, comes Eden. Astra, darling, could you please explain to me why you're trying to murder one of my followers?
I was trying to murder. It was more of a lesson in etiquette.
Right. Well, very kindly, I'm going to give this boy 1. And that is going to be his 1. I would expect more from you, Ardio. I understand that your mortal connections are struggling, and I will be reprimanding this boy with his own task that he must complete. But I would appreciate it if you didn't try and kill my followers. Your goal is to preserve life and to manage the harvest seasons. Please don't forget this. And as soon as this person appeared, they vanish. It's more of like a humanoid shape of light than anything.
Is Yarma
Still turtled vertically, yes. There is now
consider this an
a
act
fist
of
shape.
mercy?
Yeah, there is currently the shape of Astra's fist in the back of the plate mail.
Consider this an act of mercy from Eden. Come on, Milo. Dear, let's go somewhere else. Somewhere you're more appreciated.
And as this concludes, a rather startled-looking Felicity Atisa, comes up to the door, looking very confused as to what the hell just happened.
Oh my good god. Right, okay, just give me a few minutes to mentally prepare what has just happened. Astra, why is the boy like that?
Reasons,
No reason.
Valet. Lupus looks at Astra with a semi-amused grin, but shrugs, looks at Valet, looks at Mira.
Yeah, I have no idea what the hell is going on. I was just kind of looking at this frog. Look at the frog! Maybe look at the frog.
Where did you get that frog from, Mira? Anyway, not important.
I found it.
Anyway, you and your mother need to have a conversation. Whilst I will be present in the room, but
So, Milo raises his hand.
Lupus looks over to Milo. Yes.
What do I do about the small devils?
Oh, yeah, you called devils, didn't you? No matter. Tell me, Zephy, how recently did you clean the barrel of your sniper rifle? I'm guessing not yet.
I can't believe you asked me this.
What?
I clean bird for like every 3 hours.
Okay, then I won't get them to have to suffer the end of a freshly cleaned barrel. And Lupus just clicks his fingers with a... Oh, fuck. There you go. Close enough. And as quickly as they appeared, the miniature devils kind of just explode into confetti. No, but like actual confetti.
Oh my god, it's so pretty! How do you do that?
Long story. Anyway, you and your mother
Care of my gun.
go and have a conversation. And Milo, we'll have a chat in a few minutes, okay? I've got to sort some things out first.
Am I just...
Yes, Mira is now being escorted out of the room by Lupus, and Fele is just kind of following along.
Oh.
While the rest of you are kind of just left. Okay. So you get taken, Mira, you get led into a room. And you, Fele, you, your mother, and Lupus are now sitting in this room. Right, let's get this over and done with, because this is going to be a bit of a difficult conversation. Mira, your mother has made a choice, and it requires that she has to go away for a while. We'll put it that way.
How long is she gonna be gone for?
You always were a child who asked a lot of questions, weren't you? I won't be coming back, is the simplest answer I can give you.
But why? Where are you going? Are you going on like a big adventure or something? Are you gonna become like a plunderer or something like that?
No, it's nothing quite so fantastical, dear. Unfortunately, it seems that, well, certain events of recent and for a while have required that I go for a while, to put it simply. And I do not know when I will be able to see you again.
But where are you going? Like, can I send you letters? Will you get like pictures or anything like that? Well, Father, what?
We'll arrange something for you, Mira. I'm sure that we'll have plenty of pigeons to send off, but this is quite serious. If you have anything to say to your mother, now is probably the best time to say it to her face now, as you may not see her again after today. Put it that way.
I don't really know what there is to say at this point. I mean, I had a lot of questions a while ago, but with everything that's come out, it's kind of hard to know what to say anymore.
Yes, I can only apologize for everything that I put you through, dear. I mean, you deserve nothing of it. And, well, I can only say that I've been a terrible mother to you, and for that I am only truly sorry.
No, you can't say you've been horrible. You've been amazing. I mean, yeah, we had like problems and things like that, but you know, I think you've done really well. I mean, just look at me. I have a frog. Like, this frog is now my best friend, and I'm going to call him. Godfather, help me with a name.
Alstramira, please. Concentrate. This is serious. I'll explain to you later why this has happened. But, please, just take this seriously and say goodbye to your mother. You'll get to send her pigeons, but you two likely won't meet each other again in this lifetime. We'll put it that way.
So, you're really going for real? Like, you're just gonna leave? But don't you like care about it? I mean, why aren't you just gonna keep trying? You know, I mean, you've always You always tried your best.
Dear, when you've lived a life like I have, you begin to realize that there's only so much that can be achieved by trying. Your father is not a good person, and he has unfortunately put me in a position of no return. One where, should I keep staying here, I would not be able to do anything right. If I were to stay here, you would see me wilt away. I wouldn't be happy. I wouldn't have any hope in this world. I'd just be a hollow husk of anything that I thought I could achieve. I do this not only for myself, but for you as well, so that you don't have to witness that.
I guess I understand. I mean, I don't want you to suffer. I hope you'll be happy.
Right. I know this is going to be difficult, but Mira, we've had, well, myself, Lilac, Cassandra, and your mother have arranged for basically Cassandra and Lilac have agreed to take you into their family. So I guess you're kind of sisters with Kay now. Put it that way.
Well, really, I mean, Kay and I have always been like besties, like kind of like unofficial siblings. That means we're gonna be official siblings now.
We'll work it out in a little while. For now, I need you to go and just hang about with the rest of your with the rest of Group U, while we prepare your mother for her journey. We'll put it that way.
I understand. I love you, Mother.
I love you too, dear. And I hope you'll be able to find the happiness that I was never able to find in life.
Okay. So from there, the three people in this room are dispersed. So Fele heads out into one of the other rooms that Lucas has prepared for the transfer, as I'm going to call it. Mira returns to the rest of Group U, and Lupus goes to find Milo. In the meantime, there we go. Okay, now's the right time. Penton, you are approached by Xanis shortly after Lupus comes into the room to take Milo away, leaving the two of you. The two of you end up kind of gravitating towards each other in the room, and Xanis asks to have a private word.
What's up, Dennis?
Well, sorry, it's gonna be a bit of a strange one from me, but there's someone that I've met recently that I kind of like, but I don't really know how to talk to them.
Is it the big horse orc guy?
Maybe.
I've seen the way your face goes whenever it's in the room.
Shut up. I will throw caramel at you. That was...
Oh my god, what a threat.
Shut up.
So, what is it about him you like?
I mean, he seems very gentle. And and also the mental image of him being able to catapult a small person is funny.
Okay. Is that all?
No, but I'm not really sure exactly what it is yet, because I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to pin it.
You got that sort of butterflies in your stomach feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. I presume you've never spoken to them then?
Nope.
I
mean,
presume you want me to speak to them for you.
Maybe. Xanis's ears kind of like droop a little bit.
I'll consider it.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, there is no better wingman in the world than the world's greatest manipulator, so...
Well, I mean, I know that already. There's a reason why I asked you.
Yes.
And, you know, you got the most experience out of all of us. So, well, maybe not more than Mado, but I don't know. He's not here right now. And I know you better, so...
No, I reckon Mado's gone about. But yeah, okay, yeah, sure, that makes sense. Yeah. I will talk to this man and see what I can get out of him.
Thank you. You'll have to teach me how to actually talk without getting all embarrassed and awkward, but yeah. Anyway, bye. And he proceeds to sprint off in the other direction.
Goodbye, Xanis.
In the meantime, we're gonna go over to Milo and Lupus, who are currently having a conversation of sorts. As Lupus looks over to Milo. Hey, how are you holding up?
Mike, hello, my mic. Mike, there we go. Fucking picking up nothing, bro. I definitely got angry at Yarma.
Well, I mean, that's no surprise. Long story short, the Floss Knights are already on the brink of being disbanded, but it's just the case of necessity of needing someone to defend a crypt.
Maybe that's why he's compensating so much.
If that isn't the short of it.
I don't think I was expecting Gran to react so explosively.
Yes, I will admit it was a bit of an overreaction to some degree, but your grandmother did always have a fire within her that was only provoked by a small number of things, but when it went off, holy crap.
I don't think the illusionist comment helped, even though she does know illusionary magic.
Yes, I did think that was quite ironic, in a sense.
I just think that she was rather insulted that he thought she was just an illusionist.
Well, to be fair, it's not an uncommon thing to be seen or heard of or done. But anyway, that's getting off the topic. How are you? Specifically you.
Tired,
And?
a little bit in pain, to be honest. Sudden horn growth doesn't really happen.
Well, that's runic magic for you. Oh, yeah, you're not aware. That whole spontaneous burst of power that you got when your horns decided to go all whippity-woo, I really need to think of better ways to describe things, but that sudden burst of power that you experienced, and the spontaneous immunity and ability to summon random beings out of God knows where, well, it's attached to a runic magic that was specifically developed by your ancestors to allow them to tap into the powers of, well, devils, specifically. Greater devils, for what you managed to tap into. But I'll share something with you that might... Oh, no, you're a medic. You're probably used to hearing things about blood and, for lack of better wording, penetrations.
Yes.
Yes. I have a very similar ability with one of my runes that causes these clear, pretty much see-through, borderline glass-like crystals to burst through my skin at certain points. Or, I guess burst through my fur if you want to be more outwardly specific. Since
That sounds uncomfortable.
Oh, it's extremely painful. It's like basically having a bunch of whiteboard pins, or corkboard pins, sorry, basically punctured through your skin, but in reverse. I've got this, it's a healing ointment that, I usually put on those wounds. But, yeah. Just, crouch down a little bit. Unfortunately, I'm relatively tall, but I'm not tall enough to reach, well, the horns, specifically. Can you crouch down, please? I'm not that tall.
Yeah, I'm crouching. I'm going to crouch down. I'm going to be honest. I didn't catch you saying crouch. Can you crouch down?
That's fine. You're taller than me, therefore I'm sure there's an echo. Totally not keeping that in character. No. So as Milo crouches down, Lupus applies some of this like clear-coloured gel to around the base of Milo's horns, and it's almost like a cooling, soothing effect that it has. That should temporarily help, but if it occurs again, then might be mildly problematic. But anyway, about what happened with Karl. I got approached earlier by Kay. Do you remember that book that she's been reading into?
No.
No. Well, there was a book that I gave to one of your group, and it somehow ended up in Kay's hands. But, I couldn't read any of it, and I just assumed it was a book full of scribbles. Turns out it is whatever it is, it's some sort of powerful magic object of sorts that, so far only Kay and Alistair have been capable of reading, from what she's explained to me. And with a bit of preparation, after everybody's rested up, may be able to get you a bit of a closure, both of you.
Okay.
As your godparent assigned by Karina,
Wait, what?
you weren't told about this? No.
No.
Your mother made me godfather of you both for some reason. Apparently she's fond enough of me to trust me with your well-being. I don't think I've done a very good job of it so far. But we may be able to get some closure for all of you, but specifically you. that I'm mainly concerned about. Alistair, yes, but he's only known Karl for maybe a month or so at most, whereas you've lived with him for your entire life. No, twins, obviously. But do you know what happens when a person dies? Specifically, what happens to their soul?
It's Milo.
Sorry, what? My brain.
Would Milo?
I would
No.
say probably not.
Probably not.
No, I don't think so.
Milo shakes his head.
Lupus lets out a sigh. Right, well, essentially what happens is their soul goes through the ethereal plane. You know, the place full of, like, ghosts and stuff. And it ends up in a place called the River of Life. Which is like a big old, well, river of souls. But in liquid form. No. Sorry, I'm trying to be comical to make it more memorable, but that's not the right mood. Essentially, when a soul ends up there, the consciousness, the mind, the person that soul initially belonged to, is actually split away from the soul. So the soul gets a hard reset and used for the next person that's born into the world. But the consciousness, the mind, is left in the river. Meaning that whoever has died previously, you may be able to contact them, provided you can get to the River of Life in the first place. Which is no easy feat.
Okay.
I'm telling you this because I am willing to arrange with the guild to try and get a direct path created from this plane to the River of Life, and try and pinpoint roughly where the remainder of your brother is, so you can have that one last conversation before we lose contact or the specific location of where his, I guess, remnants would be.
Okay.
Would this be something that you would like me to arrange? Take your time.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Brain hard resetting. I
feel-
think so.
Lupus looks at Milo directly in the eyes. It is a piercing gaze. And you see almost something familiar. A sense of loss? And it takes a second. It's not just a sense of loss, however. You almost gain the sense of being lost without direction, unable to navigate, drifting, if you will. Let me ask you, Milo, and I want you to hold this gaze. Do you still want to be here?
I don't know.
It's a clear-cut answer. you want, I am here to help you. I'm aware that your parents are not constantly able to be around, but I am happy to allow you to confide in me.
I'm going to be honest, you keep on cutting out because you're very quiet.
Sorry. But let me be blunt then. It's a clear-cut answer. When you're working in we'll call it a job, where life and death is constantly around you, I need to know if you are going to be capable of continuing onwards. I know that Casper and Karina aren't always around, but I am. Fortunately enough, with decisions that have recently been made regarding people outside of your life, we'll call it, a lot of my time is now getting freed up. So I will actually be able to do something within the guild rather than having to constantly chase things around. If I am there to help you through it, do you want to continue? Because I am more than happy to allow you to return home to your parents. I know how hard the loss is. I have lost many, many good people, so many of which I've formed close connections with. And it can break people. So I won't judge you if you don't wish to continue. Please, carry on. I apologize for interrupting you.
I think I'd like to stay.
There's a small, almost fanged smile that you are given. And in response to this, Lupus offers his hand. Right. Would you mind? It'll only be brief if you're one of those people that doesn't like making physical contact with someone else. It'll be a brief experience.
Milo takes Lupus's hand, I guess.
For a brief moment, you're holding a surprisingly soft, fluffy hand, and your brain is trying to process like, what the hell is going on? Why am I doing this? Why have I been asked to do this? And then, almost like a metaphorical slap to the face, it hits you. As you feel that runic energy that was running through you previously slowly return to an almost condensed form. And your horns stopped hurting as much, also in conjunction with the gel that was applied. And Lupus lets out a low breath as he's focusing. I have sealed that runic magic for now, as given your current condition and your current capability, using this rune in normal circumstances would more than likely kill you. But give me 2 seconds. And Lupus casts Message, calling upon a very specific person to come to the room. You know who you are.
The old one.
The green.
Oh, the green.
Hell!
There we go.
Pay attention! I was scrolling on Facebook!
You old. Ha! I was right. The old one. Ha!
What's
God.
happened? I was reading Cats.
Stop. Okay, well, you have been called using the message spell by Lupus. to come to the room.
Father, I heard your telepathy. That's the word.
Yes, would you mind helping Milo here and get back to the room?
Yeah, I
It's
can
getting
do
quite
that.
late.
I'm like super strong, like Alice, but like not as strong as Alice. But I'll do my best.
If need be, you can give Gelder a shout from the You should only be down the hall if you need some help.
Yeah,
working.
sure. Zelda!
Jesus.
There we go.
And it like full on echoes down the hall, and you just hear this like rapid foot pads across the ground as Fenrir pops up.
Oh.
What's up? What's wrong?
You need to help me carry Mimi to the room,
I see.
please.
Yes, I will assist. Whilst
Because I
Gelder-
think he may crush me if I do that.
Yes, I'm aware. Please,
That would be
hop
funny.
on. And Fenrir lowers himself down for some assist so that Milo can kind of like half lean onto / lay on Fenrir whilst Mira
Yes.
assists.
Yes, Milo does that.
Just imagining Milo just flumps down.
Good night.
I need to sleep after everything.
Yeah, the three of you end up making your way back to the room you're in, where everybody is given a night of rest. And you notice a very distinct lack of Yarma in this room upon your return.
Good.
Just in his sleep, Milo's just like, oh, fuck that dude.
Okay, well, Yarma does not appear to be present, but he may have just made himself scarce after the events of earlier.
Whoa, the Yam Man's mom.
Yes.
Hey, let's be honest, Eden coming was basically a mum coming. It's like, yes, I will deal with his punishment. Don't you worry. Come here, boy.
The Yam Man's gone, is what I wanted to say, but I said he's mum instead. He is now my mum. Okay.
Ew.
Eden proceeds to pull out belt.
The
Sorry.
his ass.
Carry on. As the party gets back to the room, you are all gathered in one space. However, another message spell is sent out, calling upon Penton. Give me an O.
Oh, it's made a noise.
Oh, okay. So as the rest of you are settling in for bed, you have been called. Are you going to go and find out what's happening before you end up either going to bed or going to see fucking Leon Frog?
Yeah, I guess I will.
Okay.
Tight schedule. But...
So you go. So as you go to this room, you see Lupus apparently, and he's not got his battle armor on. He's got basically, instead of where his plate mail would normally be over his chest, it's like a very thin material, like silken shirt, basically. Come in.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, I wanted to find out how you're getting on. Xanos isn't being too much of a handful, is he?
No. No, not really.
Okay, good. How are you coping, I guess?
With...
Generally.
It's been difficult. Especially the last couple of days. It's been and traumatizing.
Well, that's understandable.
Honestly, you want my honest opinion on how I'm feeling? Scared. I am feeling scared.
Mind if I ask what of?
Well, we just lost one of our party. This is the first proper encounter we've had with our enemies. Just to say it's not going to happen again. I never forgive myself, and you definitely never forgive me if anything happened to Xanis.
Let me be blunt with you. I called you here to ask how you're getting on. I know how my son is. Specifically, you. This encounter with our enemy, I guess you can consider it a taster of what they're capable of. That was but an initial tester to find out who was there, how many of us were capable of fighting back, and how well defended the city was. It's like a probe, if you will.
Well, we did it. At least the three of us made a pretty good team, me, Kay, and Xanis.
Good. And what of Yuzok?
What about you, Zok?
Well, if you remember, I said to you that you would need to at least try and find them.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, you know we found them.
Well,
They were
yes.
in the room.
I'm assuming that they are at least on neutral terms with everyone else.
Seemed to be. They had a conversation with Milo, and they gave them a flower, I think it was.
Yes,
And Xanis seems to be taking to it pretty well.
yes, my son has unfortunately developed my tastes, not his father's.
Yes, it's painfully obvious.
Yes, one extreme, not the other.
So now I'm going to have to wingman for your son.
Well, at least it's a decent wingman, unlike what I had to deal with, which was no wingman, and having a tribe of savage Wolvenites jeering me on the entire time, expecting me to try and kill the person that I was flirting with.
Ooh, dangerous.
Heightens
the drama, heightens the emotions.
Yes, but not when you end up leaving the tribe for that, and they end up hunting you through the Great Forest on Canaria's Great Forest for the span of about 6 months. Not always the best experience.
No, I guess not.
Lupus has a little chuckle to himself. Anyway, from what I've gathered, you'll be heading out this evening.
Oh, yes, of course, yes. I met one of my old friends, Leon. We known each other since we were children, and we haven't seen each other for 18 years, so...
Well, I would appreciate if, during your visit this evening, whether you would ask them if they would have interest in potentially tagging along with the guild at any point. I'm sure that yourself and eventually your allies may take kindly to having some extra companions or friends to call upon should the times require it.
No, I'd certainly appreciate the extra pair of hands.
Yes, well, I'd kind of gathered that.
But yes, I will do just that.
Brilliant. Well, I shouldn't keep you too long. I'm sure you've been waiting apprehensively to go drinking with your old childhood friend.
Oh god, yeah, so much to talk about.
Well, off you go then.
Alright, goodbye.
And just like that, Pendon leaves the room.
And just composure the whole time.
Somehow. Anyway, we tick over to the next day, now making it the... let's scroll up. The 27th of May, 56 AR. Hang on.
Lamau disco crushed.
I'm gonna be honest, I was about to make a joke that you're losing everyone in this call.
No, literally, I copied a picture of someone binge drinking, was going to send it in this chat saying Lamau mood me right now, and then Discord crashed. So, yeah, actually is a mood now. Just going to sip my drink and peace.
Okay, so we get round to the next day, and okay, it's gonna have to happen off screen. So I'm sorry, but the group wakes up to overhear a conversation between the three goddesses, and it's only just about audible, but more through the sense of tone, and you can't make out the specific words, but you can get the general tone of the conversation. With one voice seemingly very, very upset at what the slightly lower voice is saying. With Milo, I'm going to get you to roll perception. Mira, I'm going to get you to roll perception. I guess
Okay.
I will. Yeah.
28.
I'm assuming Penton isn't there because he's hungover.
No, you are not
27.
there. Okay, so it's 27, and then Mira, what did you get? Sorry?
28.
28. Okay. So you can make out that it's Astra, Fale, and Diana talking, just judging by the voices. And one of them sounds extremely upset, which you would gather is Diana, and is contesting most of what Fale is coming out with Astra being a bit more on the quiet side, but trying to rationalize and mediate between the three of them. And at some point, that comes to a conclusion, but the voice of Diana is very much unhappy with the result of the conversation. But it seems like an unhappy resolution, but accepting, nonetheless. And after a short period, the voices down the hall dissipate and appear to go separate directions, leaving. Oh, okay. So for the next 2 or 3 hours, you end up, going through food, like having the daily run through of breakfast, getting yourselves cleaned up after a long battle. But you are extremely tired after what you've been through, to such a point where you are all currently afflicted with two levels of tiredness, which is basically 5 years exhaustion mechanic, but reflavored smiley face because everything is named the same thing. So you're currently taking the time to rest, with Milo having 4 layers of tiredness. So let me double check what that is for a second. Wait, is it on this one? No, it's not on this one, it's on the other one. Hold on. Would you believe I have 2 different tabs open at the same time right now?
Oh my god, that's too many.
Like, I have... Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, I'm glad I gave him 4, meaning he technically only has 3 left. Because if you have 4 layers of tiredness, HP hit point maximum halved.
Oh dear.
Well, thank God you had a day of rest beforehand, huh?
Wow.
Wow.
Time to do mental maths. Yeah,
Me restoring my
That'd
MP.
be-
Don't mind me.
95.
Alright, I'll top up all of your HP later, and the MP. But we're gonna go to the first scene that I have planned for this, which is Cassandra and Lupus.
Good night.
Relatable.
Hang on, let me turn Hayley Williams off. There we go.
So Lupus and Cassandra are currently sitting in a room, having a conversation. Right. Well, I should update you on what you missed, which is a lot.
Yes, judging from what Kay has mentioned very, very, very briefly, it sounds like there is a lot that has gone on without my knowledge.
Well, yes. That's
Come on, Lupus, words.
a lot has happened since you've been gone, I guess, is the best way of putting it. Specifically,
Is there anyone that I need to shoot?
no.
Unfortunate.
Well, sorry, I'm just trying to work out a way of delivering a lot of the information without misconstruing it. So I guess,
Wow.
is there anything that you immediately comes to your mind that you want to know? Because there's so much there at the moment that I'm not really sure how to decompile it.
Well, I suppose last time I saw my daughter prior to the last time, she was a small child, but now she has grown quite a bit, obviously.
Yes.
What happened there?
Well, long story short, I guess I'm not sure how to put it, but
Just say it. You know I can take it. I'm not weak like Felicity is sometimes.
considering that you're going to be filled with her blood soon, maybe not, spite the woman. Well, we had a necromancer called Mace attack our guild.
And?
He took Xanis and Kay and was supplied with some sort of time magic device of some sort provided by Tuck, or Felicity's husband, that she was not aware of at the time.
Right. And why wasn't I informed the very second that someone lay a finger on my daughter?
Because we barely had the time to spare to try and find where she was before the guy killed them. Because he is clinically insane and has been trying to attack the guild for God knows how long now. I can't exactly send a letter to Calaris to inform you, and also try and locate where this maniac has wandered off with your daughter to. I apologize, but I haven't really had a free second on hand, considering the situation, we'll put it that way.
No, it's alright. You've always been busy ever since I met you. I can let this one slide. Because you know how fond I am of you, of course.
Considering that you literally got a gun like Ziffy, it's no surprise. Anyway, so what you've missed, long story short, a lot. But it's good to have you back, Cass.
Of course, I've missed you a lot.
So, long story short, yourself, Lilac, and several others are part of the Great Sage bloodlines that have come down from a very long time ago. Or I guess you will be after we've arranged everything. But
Yes, not yet.
about our old group if you will. Obviously, you know that Ziffy is still around. You saw him a little while ago, but I have some unfortunate news for you.
That being?
Do you remember Lucy?
I haven't heard of her for a very long time.
She is unfortunately no longer with us.
You mean she's dead?
Yes.
How? I know she disappeared all of a sudden, but deceased? She wasn't the kind to go seeking for trouble.
No. Quite the opposite. The trouble came to her. She ended up going to a village that was being afflicted by some sort of plague, disease. I'm not sure of the specifics of it. But unfortunately, whatever it was, her body was not capable of fighting it after several days of travel. Non-stop travel, to be specific. And it finished her off, we'll put it that way. I only received that news a few months back. Unfortunately.
She always was too selfless for her own good. And
Yes.
what of the others?
Fortunately enough, the others are alive still. They are currently working with the guild.
I never really thought that Asta would be the one to bow down to authority at times, but, well...
Well, yes, but you know what he's like. If he can find a way to cause more trouble and chaos, he'll find it.
I mean, we've all seen the way that he looks at you sometimes.
Don't get me started. Anyway, speaking of getting started, we need to try and get this transfer sorted out, but I believe it would be a good idea to have Mira, Kay, and Lilac come in, and once I finish writing out all of the quote-unquote paperwork pieces, and get it sorted out. But I believe this is a conversation you should have together.
Yes, that would be sensible.
Right. If you wait in here, I will go and gather them.
Of course.
And Lucas leaves the room, and after about 10-15 minutes, Mira and Kay come in, being led by Lilac.
Whoa. I feel like I've been in a lot of meetings lately. Just doing my head in a bit.
Well, I'll keep it brief for you. Obviously you know who I am, Lilac. Mr. Lavender, some people call me. But thankfully, your mother has agreed to allow myself and my lovely wife Cassandra to adopt you into, I guess it's adoption, into our family. Obviously, you're still part of the Rosewoods and their lineage, but welcome to our family, I suppose.
So Kay really will be my sister.
Yeah, essentially. And don't worry, as much as Cassandra looks like she'll bite your legs off, she normally ends up, curbing her enthusiasm once I get involved.
Yes, well... we save that for my true enemies, where I do more than bite their legs off, I shoot their legs off and watch them bleed. But that's a separate issue.
Stop.
What
Jeez.
dear, I'm just saying the truth.
I know, but it's just unnecessary. I mean, we're trying to introduce Mira to our family. Come on.
No, it's okay. I think that's really cool. Like, I've always wanted to know more about anatomy. So if you shut off anyone's legs, please tell me, because I really want to see what the inside, like those bone structures and like the muscle looks like. It'd be really interesting.
Kay face palms and just holds her hand between her head, like her head between her hands. Fucking hell! Ugh.
Multiple heads.
Yes, she just trying to process what the hell is currently happening.
Oh, really? Then I think you'll be a great addition to the family. That's gay.
Sorry, I'm just trying to process how bad.
You
of a
know
slip
what?
that was.
I write that in my fics so much, and I'm just like, wait, no, it's head between
Head between
hands,
hands, not hands between
not-
heads.
only one head, multiple hands. Okay. It's alright, Milo. I proofread last night. It is not in there.
Where is it? Okay. Anyway, sorry. I'm just taking a second to mentally recuperate after that. Okay. So, Kay just has to take a moment. Meanwhile, Lilac is just sitting there smiling. Well, it's certainly a start. I'll give you that. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure that you're happy with being part of this family. And that myself and Cassandra will try and do our best to be good parents. And then Lilac leans in towards Mira. If Cass gives you any problems, just come and let me know. She can be a little bit aggressive sometimes. And it's a very hushed whisper.
I'm sure it'll be alright. I mean, she's only pointed the gun at my head once. So I'm sure it will be okay.
Sorry, dear. What did you say to her? Dear?
Nothing, Mum. Nothing. Alright.
Good. Well then, everything seems to be in order then, doesn't it?
Yeah. Also, I think that's, I'm pretty sure that's just making sure that Mira's aware that, we're gonna be the best sisters ever. Yeah. There's no right doubt.
Yeah.
Yes, dear. That's, definitely what I'm saying to her. Anyway, shall we go out on a... Shall we go and, what was it? I think we were going to go and try out one of those, fancy restaurants down the road. Now, you two kids play nice. Don't blow anything up while we're gone. Come on, Cass, darling.
Explosion.
Yes, dear, I'm coming. I'm sure it's going to be marvelous. Well, you two play nice.
Like I said, don't blow anything up.
Well, I can't speak for later, dear.
Time and a place, darling. Stop. And Lilac, nudges Cassandra, but he misses and hits her in the tit. I rolled a nat 1! Why? Why is this a thing?
Darling!
Hashtag jiggle physics. Anyway, moving swiftly onwards.
Please, we can wait until after we have food. Oh, don't do that, maybe a bit later.
Lilac just goes a bit red in embarrassment of the fact that he missed such an easy shot, and proceeds to very quickly walk away. Oh, this is gonna be great. Okay, so now that's happened. Yeah, this is gonna be a thing. So Mira, Kay ends up leaving and goes to. She mentioned something about going to find Milo to go and talk to him. As you look down the road, you see 3 people coming towards the
3 people coming towards me.
One of them is very familiar. 2 of them are kind of familiar. You recognize them because they were part of your group.
Hi guys, hello.
Could you not be so loud, please?
No, I thought I was talking at a regular voice, but I can go really quiet like this because my mom always likes to say, Mary, you want to play the quiet game? And I go silent for so long that you'd forget I thought I was here. Is that quiet enough for you?
It's fine, Mira. I just have a headache.
Oh my god. I mean, Milo would be able to help you with a headache, but I think he's a bit tired right now.
Well, I believe I've met you before, but I'm Leon. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
I am Maria. Yes, you were in my group, weren't you? Yes, you are Mr. Bardic Man.
Yes.
The Bardic Man is my childhood friend.
Yes, myself and, Penton have known each other since we were kids. We just haven't seen each other in a while. Anyway, you seem like quite the fledgling bird.
You mean I'm gonna fall out of a tree?
Well, I could certainly see you falling out of a tree. You're green, kind of like those, slightly more sour, bitter apples. But how about I teach you how to turn someone into a red, delicious apple?
What, you mean like magic? Like my auntie Diana does? She turns people into frogs, and I always wanted to be a frog.
No.
Leon, where's this come from?
Well, she seems completely clueless, so it only seems fair that we teach her about the birds and the bees, the apples and the trees. What do you say? What do you say, Amira? Would you be up for a lesson? On learning how to swoon those you have taken the fancy to?
What, you mean like Simon?
Yes, exactly like him.
Okay.
Come now. Let's try and find some paper, or at least a place where I'm not going to be interrupted, and I will.
Some coffee?
Yes, okay, we'll get something like that as well.
Some aspirin?
I'm pretty sure that. Hold a minute. Throg, you quite right there. You're staring at Yuzok over there with a bit of a faraway glance. Are you okay there?
What? Yeah, it's fine.
Are you sure? You seem very. What's the word? Upset?
Rock is going to approach and basically whisper, or attempt to whisper, in Leon's ear. Don't tell anyone. Don't have a sight bigger than me.
Leon starts chuckling and struggles to kind of keep his composure, but
I'm not used to it, alright?
persuasion 26 manages to persuade wait, hold on.
What?
I have to roll for he's gonna try and persuade Throg. Would you like to roll my cursed dice?
Okay.
It's a really bad time for Rasputin to start playing.
We'll just call it that. Against his insight. Oh no. Okay, no. Leon succeeds by a significant margin. It's a 15 versus a 26.
Oh dear, sweetheart, no.
So Leon manages to persuade Throg that no, it's okay. Come now. We'll sort that out for you later. I'm sure you can enjoy the fact that you're bigger than pretty much myself, Fenton, and Mira. Look at how tall you are. You're like a titan amongst midgets.
It was quite funny being bigger than Buddy Boy last time.
Well, yes, of course.
He looks so small.
Well, we are basically the same height, so... Actually, no, he's taller than me.
I'm gonna have to get some taller shoes.
Yes,
Can't have everyone get bigger than me.
Anyway, moving swiftly onwards. Mira, dear, do you have anyone else that you think could do with a lesson in a lesson in love improvement? We'll call it that.
In
Anyone
love
else?
improvement. Milo.
Tell me, where is Sorry, there's a fucking message in the chat. Oh my god. I can't. Okay, so upon hearing this, Gelda pokes his head out of the room with a very tired-looking Milo, very quiet, very slowly being dragged behind him. Oh, are you educating? Are you? Come on, Milo, this will be fun.
You're having lessons.
Why? What even is this lesson? Why the fuck are you teaching?
I don't know, Milo.
It's a fun lesson. Come on. What could go worse? What could go worse? As Gelda's gonna roll.
What's gonna be worse? Me being awake? Let me go to bed!
No, you can't just sleep the whole day.
No.
And Gelda is going to roll persuasion. Oh shit. My dice. No. There we go. What did you roll?
You act like I know what I'm rolling.
Oh shit, yes I do.
Where's my dice roller?
Whoops. I guess it'd be insight? Question mark?
Insight. Okay.
What did you roll on your insight when you rolled it?
14.
Yeah, no, you don't. You do not win. So Gelda manages to rather smoothly persuade you to just follow along. It'll be interesting. And so you're all seated in these chairs in what looks like a small conference room, as Leon has Throck stand at the front of the room with him.
Oh dear God.
And takes out a piece of white chalk and sketches on the board. Okay, welcome to a lesson in improved romance. So, for this, Mr. Alano, if you could pretend to temporarily be Mira's dear Simon.
Okay.
And sure, we'll pair up you two over there. Is it Milo? Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, we'll pair you up with the clueless catboy over there. Okay, so your first thing that you want to do is try and catch their attention. Throw some seductive moves out there, perhaps. So, follow what I do. I will go up to Throck and flick my hair a little bit, and maybe ruffle up my blazer a little bit. How are you doing? Can I interest you in some tea?
Would like to.
Now you try. And Leon looks to... I'm sorry, this is so fucking dumb. When this scene was written down, I was like, how can I make this more meme-worthy? You know what? Screw it. We'll drag everyone else in. So
Leon's face is one of pure regret.
I just love how I was like, originally I was going to pick K, and then my one functioning brain cell was like, you know what, let's bring Milo into the...
Fuck you.
I wish I could.
Pause. I just I just opened up my fucking tub of ice cream.
Your tub of ice cream is going to feel mighty melty after this heat.
Oh.
Considering that it's been in the freezer the entire time, I hope not.
I guarantee you,
Anyway,
Alice is going to be upset that she missed this. Don't worry,
Alice
we'll do
is-
this again. We will do this again because it's fucking hilarious.
it's going to
Anyway,
be like a theme.
so Leon looks to Mira, Penton, Milo, and Gelda. Now, pick one of which one of you is going to be which one will be me in that scenario, and which one of them will be your Throck. Who's going to approach the other?
Penton, you can decide.
I have a splitting headache right now. I hit it a little bit too hard last night, so whichever one requires me to do less.
Were you having a midweek bender?
God, I wish I was having a midweek bender.
I know, right? Me too. Not with alcohol, just apple juice. It's green like me.
Gelda leans over to Milo after he hears him mutter that and goes, "What kind of bend?"
If you
I was
are
been
talking
into
about
all
the
sorts of
sexual
shapes and
kind,
sizes, but we won't talk about that.
Oh, I know. I'll try it. And Gelda goes up to Milo and proceeds to slam his hand on the table, and the table cracks. You just hear this, and you realise the table is not actually secured to the floor.
oh no.
I'm just gonna roll perception for Gelda. That's a 2.
Oh no.
Where's the 20 on my dice? I want to put it down 20 side up.
Is this table about coming rocketing into my side?
No, the table flips. And it lands the wrong way up, knocks Gelda over. Gelda lands on top of Milo. And it's a bit of an awkward situation of, who, what?
Well, Jordan, I know you're quite the straightforward guy, but
No,
please.
this was not intentional. You cannot frame me for this. Who leaves
What?
an unbolted table? Who leaves an unbolted table? Why?
Who puts their tables down?
My mother, because she knows that I am expertly skilled at knowing how to flip tables. How's that for you? And he just looks completely embarrassed at the fact that he just fell over.
You're still on me.
Yes. And he doesn't move. He just sits there looking really awkward and unsure what to do with himself.
Are your legs suddenly incapable of working, dear?
Oh, yes. And then you just see Fenrir come over, just plod over, and grab Geldo by the scruff of his, robes, and just drag him off of Milo. So this large wolf has just come over, picked up Geldo, and just drags him away. Well, and Leon speaks up. Well, that was a thing. Now you two. I guess, Mira, you can take the lead here, because why not? Imagine that you're talking to your dearest Simon. Panton, at least try?
Are we in an open room, or is
You
just
are
are we
in,
in
like-
this
I can
place?
handle my drink.
Yeah, you're like
I
in
just
a...
don't know when to stop.
Well,
Okay.
that's unfortunate. Anyway,
Okay. I'm gonna shove Penton against the wall, slam my hand by his head.
oh.
Cavidon.
Oh no! Yep,
Well-
carry on.
My mum wrote this in a book once, but she said, well, the Atistas have got to reproduce one way or another, and I know the bunnies like to have that stuff done.
What the fuck?
How about it, bunny boy?
23.
Jesus
Oh
Christ,
my
woman.
god!
25?
Okay, you fail.
No!
What did you roll on the
I
dice?
rolled 19.
Okay, this is fine. God, you're lucky you put those points in Dex.
Hey!
Okay, so Penton looks a little bit startled. It's just this has just happened.
Well. For the sake of this exercise, I think that was amazing, so I'm gonna say yes.
So you would reproduce with me?
If you bring down the energy, like, a couple of points, then maybe.
So you would reproduce with me?
Wait, why?
Okay, this is getting weird.
Okay,
Leon, stop.
okay, let me get involved here. I think what the case is that lovely Miss Alstramira is just thinking about her beloved Simon a lot. He has got a lot coming for him. Anyway,
Leon, I miss him
Oh,
so
yeah. Good luck to him.
I miss him so much.
anyway, I would say that that's relatively successful.
Oh yeah, by the way, Milo has gotten off of the floor.
Yeah,
He
I
has
was gonna
stood
say,
up.
has he moved yet?
God, what would have happened if it fucking... She managed to hit over 25?
You would have been seduced.
Dude.
That's what would have happened.
That would have been funny.
If only. Mary is one time.
Gelda looks after managing to basically pry himself away from Fenrir, looks at what just happened with Mira and Penton. My voice cracked, amazing.
And Penton.
And Penton, and looks at Milo. Then looks at Leon. Wait, is that how you're supposed to do it? Oh, well, you there. And Gelda, like, snaps around to look at Milo. Say, you, me, and a nice home-cooked meal. How about it, pretty boy? And his face is completely red as he says this, but I'm gonna roll a seduction. Fucking hell, come on.
You're gonna roll seduction.
Yes.
Lupus.
This can only go so badly, and you know what?
Lupus.
It's for the meme.
Lupus, you're... No, poor boy!
Fuck.
I have stage 4 fatigue.
Question.
What?
What's your DC?
N.A.
Oh, fuck! Okay.
You forgot! You
I forgot!
Her DC
Well.
is North America!
No!
Well, it's a 23 total. I will allow you to decide how that goes. Oh my god. This session is absolute fucking chaos already. But it was a 23 total, so I will allow you to decide how that gets taken.
You watch as Milo, his head just tilts down, his hand comes down, covers his forehead,
Facepalm.
he sighs.
Mm-hmm.
I may swing that way, but not sexually, okay?
Well, I wasn't implying anything like that, but if there's not a no, then dinner.
Sure.
At this point,
I
Gelda.
legit can't tell if this is supposed to be an exercise anymore.
Yeah, I know, Penton, take
Leon, what have
us
you done?
Penton, we're going out for a date.
Gelda
You're buying.
lets out
Mira.
an unholy level of
Mira, no.
loud, celebratory cheer. I'm not even going to try and replicate it because I will break my mic. But he lets out the loudest bellowing cheer and immediately sprints out of the with Fenrir
What?
just standing there, looking, and then looks back. Fenrir then looks back to Milo. Well, that's just happened.
I guess I should follow, or we should follow.
Yeah, probably. Just in case he somehow manages to set fire to himself. Anyway, would you like to hop on?
Sure.
And Fenrir kind of squats down a little bit for Milo to hop on, and then they both give chase, leaving Penton, Mira, Leon, and Throck in the room. Leon looks amused. Well,
Where did that come from, Mira?
yes, I must say that was absolutely excellent.
That was... that was superb.
I just unleashed goblin energy. Gremlin.
Goblin energy is very horny energy.
Yeah, but I mean, well. Goblin.
What? Do it, bitch. I'm telling you to do
Anyway.
it.
So, Leon goes to Mira. Well, I'm assuming that's just your regular approach, but if you hone your skills a little bit, maybe practice in the mirror, I think you might have the right energy. What do
So
you say?
should I cab it on Simon?
Yes, I think that would work.
Oh my god. I hope he's been working out he's really bad at Twister. His lower body strength is like really not good. So I hope he's been working on it.
Honey, if it nearly worked on me, it'll work on anyone.
But now Jelda and Milo have gone on a date and I want dinner. I'm hungry.
Fine, I'll take you on the date for dinner.
Well,
Yay!
Perhaps we can make it a double date, quote unquote.
Heck yeah!
So, the four of them leave to go and get food, and sit in a small little side place, as Mira and Penton are kind of just joining in, but Leon pays for it. Well, I would say quite a successful I would say that's quite a successful lesson. Oh,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yes, sorry. I was just getting distracted by the fact that Throck has somehow managed to get sauce all over his chin. Come here. And Leon reaches up with this oversized cloth and starts rubbing the underside of Throck's chin, where there's just this somehow it almost looks like he's just shoved his chin in a bowl of soup.
I sometimes make a mess. Not the best with these things. Holds up
Just-
a knife and fork with massive hands.
Yes, we really do need to get you some personalized silverware or something.
You know what? You could get him a bib. My mum used to give me a bib when I was younger. And for the baby mutt as well, because he can be a bit of a slob, won't lie.
You have a pet baby moth? What?
Yeah!
Well,
my mum does.
Stop. And he looks over to Throck, who seems too busy trying to consume more of this very salt-heavy food. And kind of leans over to Mira and whispers, well, I wouldn't mention behemoths around him. He's not exactly, he's got a bit of a problem with them. Not in a he hates them way, he's kind of scared of them.
Oh, okay. Should
So,
I use the safe word?
No. Wait. Anyway. Penton, how are you enjoying your food over there? You're being very quiet. You're looking not whimsically, but confused. You're quite right there.
Today has been an experience.
Oh yes. I tend to bring out either the best or the worst in people. Or both. Well, depending on what way you want to word it.
Which one was I?
Well, it depends on what you're referring to.
Never mind.
And Leon has like a kind of cheeky smirk on his face, clearly knowing what Penton's referring to, but is just trying to wind him up. Anyway, Mira, so tell me about you. What sort of things do you end up getting up to?
What, like my hobbies or things like that?
Yeah. Throck, you've got more sauce on your chin again. Jesus Christ. Come here. And it's all over your... How did you manage to get it on your back? How?
I guess, like, if he gets it on his face and then he whips up, you know...
Spill salt, you throw it over your shoulder. I thought I should apply it to everything else.
No.
He flicks his hair back and forth, and it gets on his
Got
back.
on the woman behind him.
And
Alright.
At this point... yeah, at this point, Leon's basically is kind of like half folded over Throck's shoulder, trying to mop up the mess that Throck is making. Oh dear. I promise it's not normally this bad, it's just undersized silverware.
Yeah, I get you. It can be difficult sometimes. Like, my hands are not that big, so when I was given like this massive spoon once, I just could not. It would not work. Hands too tiny for big spoon.
Yeah, makes sense. Anyway, sorry, I was... Anyway. Wait. I'm sorry, but... Do you guys see that down the road?
Sounds like... that doesn't sound good.
It sounds kind of like... screaming. Throck, you didn't accidentally kick anyone, did you?
What do you mean, kick anyone?
Well, literally, did you kick anyone on the way here? Why, I can hear a person screaming.
Well, it was just one kid, but...
Well, yes, but
they had it coming.
That's fair.
He said my fur looked weird.
Valid. Did you punt him to the moon or back, or no?
No, I think I missed them then.
Have to try harder next time. Anyway, Mira, please look out the window. What's that?
Down.
I certainly hope it does. Otherwise it's going to be a bit of a splat. Anyway, Mira, can you look out the window and see what that is, please?
Yeah. I'm gonna stand up and poke my head out.
As you put your head out the window, you see... you see Milo on the back of Fenrir, chasing around Gelda, who is currently flailing his arms in the air, running about. And it's not a scream of terror, it's a scream of celebration, with Milo just looking incredibly confused, concerned, and potentially worried? You can't really tell from this distance, but it's just Gelda running around being an idiot.
Yeah, I think Milo's just having a midlife crisis. Don't worry about it.
Ah, that sounds, familiar. Anyway, tell me, if you wanted me to try and set two people up with each other, who do you think would be the best duo to do it with?
What, you mean you wanna play matchmaker?
Well, yes, it seems like an entertaining thing to do.
Well, Alice already has someone, and Milo and Gelda seem to be getting on quite well. Kay's not really got anyone, as far as I'm aware. Maybe Xanis has a crush on someone. I don't really know.
I can think of 2 people, but I'm supposed to be doing that. But
Who do you
if you
think?
want to tag in, you can.
I
I'm
mean-
feeling pretty shit right now.
Spill the beans, Penton!
Yeah, Penton. Please tell me who the 2 people you think are. This will be entertaining.
The only person in the entire guild that I've ever met that is taller than your other half.
Yes.
I think he went by Yuzok.
Yes, Yuzok, Yuzok Marikov? It's the Geomancer, yes?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Xanis has a very big crush on him.
Oh my god.
Leon's eyebrows raise up and Throck.
The gentle giant sort of thing.
Leon looks over to Throck. Now where does that sound familiar?
I don't know. I was too busy looking at this bird over here. Very pretty.
Yes, well...
Huh?
You remember the person that that you were a little bit jealous of, that's larger than you? Both taller
that
and
guy?
heavier built. You remember the small little wolf fox boy with the silver weapons that you thought was interesting? The one with the blue jacket.
Well, the one I thought I recognised, the famous one.
Yeah, the small one with the red hair. Grey fur.
Yeah, I think I got it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, from what lovely Penton has just told us, is that same young man has a thing for the guy that you're envious of. What do you reckon? Should we try and set them up the same way that me and you got set up?
I reckon he could do better. He's too tall, really, but I'll give it a go, I guess. Yeah, try that, yeah.
Well, don't worry. You are the perfect height for me, dear. Anyway, let's get to writing a swooning love letter that I'm sure Penton can deliver deliver and assist, and obviously pull his own tricks anyway. Let's get down to it.
After like 3
Yeah.
days of sleep, yes.
Oh, you'll be fine. And that is where I'm going to end the session. So, yeah, that derailed quick. But anyway, see you guys in the next one. Bye!
Oh